In this video, we're going to talk about artificial intelligence and finance. And we're going to talk about everything from how AI will probably never save us from a bank collapse, to why Warren Buffett says that AI is as disruptive as the atomic bomb. And that's actually something he could speak to, because I did the math and he had already been investing in stocks for 3 years when the atomic bomb was invented.
Now I am become death, the destroyer of worlds.
So legendary investors Warren Buffett and Charlie Munger have shared their thoughts on artificial intelligence. And they're not quite as smitten as most of us YouTubers are. So Munger said that he's skeptical about the hype around artificial intelligence, and thinks that good old-fashioned intelligence works well for him. Now he might not be wrong, it could be hyped, but keep in mind that Charlie Munger is 99 years old. Which means he was about 60 years old when the internet was invented. But look, even if he isn't always just keeping up with cutting-edge technology, he certainly knows what a great company is when he sees it. And I could definitely see how watching the stock market valuations for Microsoft and Nvidia might look suspiciously like a bubble to a veteran like him. But his business partner, Warren Buffett, 92, did compare the disruptive nature of artificial intelligence to the invention of the atomic bomb, which occurred when Warren Buffett was 14 years old and he started investing at 11. So he might be right when he says it could change everything about the world except for the way people behave and think. So Warren and Charlie might be two of the best people to understand something called Fedspeak. But now ChatGPT is unlocking the hidden language of finance. So there's this thing called Fedspeak in the finance world. Whenever a central banker says something, people try to figure out what it really means and then place a bet that direction. And it turns out that ChatGPT is actually pretty good at understanding these statements. But there's a catch, because sometimes it gets it wrong in ways that a human would definitely notice. Also, if everybody keeps using ChatGPT, it could create a risky monoculture, and then you wouldn't want to place a bet the same way because everybody's using the same tool. And then when ChatGPT gets it wrong, there's an unexpected swing the other direction in the market. But JP Morgan sure took note of this and created their own artificial intelligence system to help them decode Fedspeak. It learned from 25 years of Federal Reserve speeches to give an instant hawk versus dove score after each new speech. But don't worry, because not everybody can get access to JP Morgan's AI, but we can all use ChatGPT to help change the future of our own personal finance. Well, if you're wondering how big large language models like ChatGPT are being used inside the financial firms, I've got some clues for you. So thanks to Forbes, they did a deep dive, and here's what they learned. So far, the big 3 categories have been to spot fraud, assess risk, and help with customer service. Now you'll notice it didn't say decision making yet, but it seems to me like in the future an artificial intelligence will help us with decision making. Even if financial companies want to keep a human in the loop at the end, that would make sense, but there's huge potential there. The investment firm Greycroft has a $2 billion vision for how artificial intelligence will influence the future. Diana Settle is the co-founder of the VC firm Greycroft, and she sees artificial intelligence as an inevitable and core part of our future. So her firm is focused on AI native companies, as well as those who have adapted artificial intelligence into their current user base. However, Settle also pointed out all the things that she believes artificial intelligence won't change. She thinks there's always going to be a demand for consumer goods like cosmetics and packaged foods, and that these companies might benefit from AI in terms of marketing, distribution, and production, but their products are always going to be sold without AI at the core. And it's hard to doubt her because Greycroft has a great investment history. And now with the company managing over $2 billion and fresh capital to spend at the market contraction, she could be in a great spot to have some big gains. Cathie Woods, watch out. Hot on your tails. So let's talk about one of those companies that has integrated AI into their financial services. Trovata is a company that's a global leader in bank APIs. And they have now introduced the first generative AI tool for the fintech space. Now this new tool, called Trovata AI, uses OpenAI's GPT large language model to automate cash workflows and automate business intelligence. So think corporate finance, accounting, treasury departments, and doing this with the backing of major financial institutions like JP Morgan, Wells Fargo, and Capital One. So this is a tool internally a financial services company would use for financial planning scenarios. So imagine answering complex financial questions and making reports. For example, an open-ended question like how does the company's cash flow look, or if I start spending in this way, what would happen? That would save a lot of manual hours that are used right now. But hot on their tails is the first verified ChatGPT plugin for investing. So there's a new AI-powered investing guide called PortfolioPilot, and it uses OpenAI's ChatGPT. In fact, it's the first verified plugin to help you with your investing. So you can copy and paste your investment portfolio into this tool and ask it questions. And then you can search for investment recommendations. Or it can analyze your portfolio, find all of the relevant news, and actually rank that by importance. Now, it's not totally new. A lot of Americans have already been using ChatGPT to help with their finances. In fact, a new report said that 47% of adults have used ChatGPT to help with stock picks. And 69% are open to the idea to trying it out. So now let's talk about some research that was done about how a tool like ChatGPT actually performs. Researchers in South Korea were interested in the question, how well does a tool like ChatGPT work as a co-pilot for financial suggestions? And they said it could be a very helpful co-pilot, as they called it, especially for those that have very little financial knowledge. So it's not a magic market predictor, but it's really good at helping you diversify your portfolio and learn in a way that makes sense specific to your situation. In the study, ChatGPT was tested against a bunch of different assets: stocks, cryptocurrencies, bonds, real estate, and more. And they found that it did perform better than a randomly assigned portfolio, and found it great at finding connections between assets. But remember, it sometimes gets things wrong, sometimes it even misses really obvious things, and that's why you should only use it alongside a qualified financial advisor for your investments. So you might be thinking, with AI being so powerful, could it maybe predict all the stock market crashes and then we don't have to worry about those in the future? The answer from an expert is probably no. So you might be surprised to learn that even though banks like Credit Suisse used advanced AI models to make predictions about what would happen, when the model actually output certain risks to be worried of, it mostly got overlooked. Now, part of the reason why is probably because those people are focused on profit. And bank executives sometimes prefer being in the position of ignorance in case something like a bank collapse happens. It's a little bit easier to dodge responsibility if you say like, oh, unforeseen consequences, you know? Plus, because it's just a prediction, if it does give them a warning and they make a big decision that decreases the profits, they're never gonna really know if they dodged a bullet, if the model would have been right, or if they would have been fine taking higher risk and surviving. And so what that means for us is that we can't rely on the banks to not have these kind of failures, even if they have the most advanced AI ever. So make sure there's some ways for you to protect some of your wealth if there is instability in the banking system. Okay, so taking it all in, we basically have artificial intelligence creeping its way into the system. And the financial services see the benefits, but like there's this slow motion battle for control. Financial services need to meet legal requirements and ensure customer safety, and they're still using human experts to evaluate the rules and strategies, make credit underwriting decisions, and help with the user experience. So although large language models like ChatGPT are working their way into the system, they're not enough during a critical situation like a fraud attack to comfort a worried investor. So even if AI is by their side, there's probably going to be many more humans in the loop trying to protect accounts. So even though artificial intelligence is trying to make progress into the financial services industry, never underestimate the ability of a deeply rooted culture to incorporate technology slowly. Smash that subscribe button.